Welcome everybody to another team builder with Ironflash Gaming. Today we're going to be building around Mega Heracross because it is not really seen too much in the OU tiers, and it's kind of a shame because it breaks everything. And when I mean everything, everything. So for example, even things like Clefable still take a ton from Rock Blast. The counters to Heracross are only things that are offensive that outspeed it and can kill it. Obviously bird types and psychic types, slide twins and stuff like that. So the thing with Heracross is that as long as it's in front of something that it outspeeds, it can kill it, and it can relatively take most hits as long as it's not a brave bird or something along those lines. So things like, it's a Bisharp switch in. If they have the bulky mons, like bulky stall teams, Heracross has fun with those all day. So I decided to go with close combat, pin missile, rock blast, and sword stance. Now, bullet seed was my prior favorite thing of all time because it hits the zoom rolls, but zoom rolls are not as common, and close combat still 2 kills, and rock blast still 2 kills as well. And so yeah, if you get a sword stance up, it is all fine and dandy. Another thing about Heracross being max speed is other than outspeeding Bishop, it outspeeds the multitude of base 70 mons and sword stances. So something like land, it's kind of a joke when somebody switches into the Garchomps and Landorses on a Heracross. Like, no, we switch into you, not you switch into this, because it switches into EQs without a problem. And Landorus is setup fodder. Like, that's the thing. It's like if they try to send in Landorus, like, you just set up a sword stance. Garchomp, you pin missile those, and yeah, what, Dragon Tail you? Yeah, nice. Um, Next is our bird check, bird counter, and this is mostly kind of the theme of this. If you're gonna get a status on something, like we have more status stuff over here, but if you're gonna get a status on something, oh my goodness, excuse me there. But yeah, you want to get off Thunder Waves is because if Heracross can outspeed the team, it's going to one-shot the whole team. It's not really meant to, Thunder Wave. Of course, Thunder Wave's a fun move, as we all know. But this deals with things like, with even minimal investment. We have Hippo mostly for Talonflame, but this is another very, very good Talonflame check, Tornadus check, somewhat Volcanion check because yeah, Spadef, and one of the scariest things to this team is a Curum. Now we do have Ferrothorn, we can Pursuit Trap it, and Heracross can take a hit for the most part, but Ice Beam is kind of a scary thing for this team. But with this Zapdos, Zapdos can 1v1 many teams as well, as long as they don't have a Chansey or whatever. Nothing really wants to switch into discharges to get paralyzed, heat waves for the Bisharps, the Ferrothorns, HB Ice for the Landorses, Garchomps is a very, very good utility mon. The amount of things that Zapdos checks is unbelievable, as well as Hippowdon. Hippowdon deals with any Volt Switcher in the game, as long as they don't have Toxic or whatever. And it's really bulky, to say the least, because with Hippowdon, it kind of with Stone Edge and Earthquake, it kind of deals with that. It doesn't it gets walled by Skarmory, but everything else it can decently chip away at it, especially with the Sandstream ability. Sandstream doesn't really necessarily hurt this team or help this team because Ferrothorn doesn't get affected, but everything else somewhat gets shit, but it's fine for the most part. And Hippo is a very, very good stealth rocker, and for the most part pairs very well synergy with Zapdos, bar ice beams and stuff like that. But our ice resist is a Ferrothorn apparently, and it works well enough. Curums, and overall fairy types are checked with this. Actually, I do want to make a little bit of adjustment here. I decided to put Ironhead on here. The reason why is because Ironhead hits the Clefables a lot harder, and if they do try to wear you down, Ironhead is going to be a little bit better for that. And Ice School Crash does a ton to Clefables as well. So I mean, if you weaken it just a little bit, um, you know, Ferrothorns deal with most variants of Clefables. You know, Bar, Fire Blast, and stuff like that. But another aspect about this team is we have a little bit of hazard stacks. So I mean that's guaranteed Okos with Heracross here, and we also have a spinner. So um, this team's a little bit weak to Keldeo without the Starmie. So Starmie is a very good check to the Keldeos. We also have Zapdoses to also take hits relatively well because we are especially defensive. Um, And now we got a couple fun synergy. You know, the offensive synergy now between Heracross and Weavile is very fun because it kind of can pursuit trap the Lotties, this and that, and Banded Weavile is my favorite variant of Weavile because knockoff 2 KOs, Rotom, Wash, that's fully defensive. If Stealth Rocks are up. I mean, Rotom isn't too big of a problem with this team, but like Choice Band and Weavile with Pursuit is very deadly, and it's just an overall very good mon. The only thing you would really need low kick for is Irrelevant because we have Hippo to deal with like the Bisharps and the Tyrannitars and stuff like that, and then like added on with Heracross. There's no need to go, low kick or anything like that. Another scary mon that kind of punishes this team as well is Weaviles. So Kirums and Weaviles are a little bit annoying to this team, but if you play it correctly, Heracross can deal with them both if it's at reasonably good. If it's at high health, it should be dealing well with it, and it has the offensive nukes between Heracross and Weavile, along with defensive pairings with Hazard Stack. It's a very well team. So we're going to be checking out our first game here. So one thing that I do want to add real quick is the whole reason why I add these games onto the team builder is to see how these teams work, and kind of show them how I play with them. So maybe you can pick up tools on how to win with these teams. So our opponent has a pretty offensive team. By the judge of it, he's probably an offensive Chomp because, like, offensive Lopunny, offensive Thundurus, offensive Bisharp, offensive Azumarill, offensive Gengar. I mean, technically you can run bulky Chomp, but like it would make more sense to be like an offensive Chomp to not lose momentum. But odds are he's probably going to either lead off with his Lopunny or not too sure what he's going to lead off with, or if he's expecting my Hippowdon lead because Hippowdon does a very well matchup, like versus his whole team. Like Hippowdon, like kind of 6-0s his team, but bar Azumarill. So, he could be leading off with Azumarill. So we got to watch out for that. So because of that, I'm somewhat forced to lead off with my Zapdos because I do have a Ferrothorn that does wall the Azumarills, but if he's like Belly Drum and then the Belly Drum potentially could sweep, and that'd be kind of annoying to lose the first game from that. Or even if he was Superpower Banded Azumarill, I don't want to deal with that with the Ferrothorn because that will knock me out. So I decided to lead off with Zapdos because, once again, this also has a very well matchup versus this team. And I can easily deal with the Thundurus here, and, just in case he did go into his offensive Garchomp or whatever, I did decide to go for an HB Ice in case he decided to, HB Ice was the overall best play. As here, I'm just going to roost off the damage. I have no reason not to roost. As Zapdos actually beats Bisharp, not the other way around. I mean, kind of. I mean, that does. So beforehand, I was a little bit more especially defensive, and yes, I am static, by the way. So if we count, that's one turn of static that did not apply. So I barely missed out on the kill, and he goes out into the Lopunny as just in case if it was a damage roll. I did decide to go for a roost, and the other play that he could have made is he could have doubled into the Azumarill expecting my Hippo, but I didn't want my Hippo to get knocked off because like it beats his team for the most part. So he goes out into the low pony. So I'm gonna stay in because I can deal with the low ponies decently well, and mostly I in theory should get a uh, static on this thing. So he doesn't get static again because he went for a knockoff, didn't get static. He went for an ice punch, didn't get paralyzed. I go for a discharge, doesn't get paralyzed. He goes for ice punch, does not get paralyzed. Okay, so Zapdos kind of letting us down there, but we're able to get up our rocks as he does go Azumarill. I have a Ferrothorn. He knows I have a Ferrothorn. I know that he has a Ferrothorn. Ferrothorn, Ferrothorn, Ferrothorn. And even if he were to waterfall, I actually can live it. And I'm also forced to go for an earthquake in case he is belly drum. If he's belly drum, I need to get earthquake damage off on it in order to not get swept. So I decided to go for earthquake, and I'm going to go out into my Heracross to be able to get the Mega, and I'm going to try to kill this Garchomp with a pin missile, but he actually shows that he is defensive. It was weird because I already explained like he should be offensive, but it's whatever. And we missed our pin missile, which if he was fully max, like if he was max defense, then he could have lived. But for the most part, it would have been very very close to killing. So then he was able to get all that damage off on my Heracross, and I couldn't get away with any real damage. So he goes into his Mega Lopunny, and I'm just going to go into my Powdon because it cannot 2KO me. And like this thing just wins. So here I'm going to go for a Stone Edge, expecting... I was actually expecting the Gengar. I mean, Earthquake's probably my best play all around. But like even if he did go for Return or whatever, I can easily slack off the damage. And actually miss again as he gets a crit. So, pretty annoying. But I'm going to be able to get off a slack off here. And I could easily, HP Ice does nothing to me. But knowing that he's going to go for HP Ice, I actually go into my Starmie. Because with the Sandstorm plus Lay 4B is going to die, and I create offensive momentum, so he cannot go into his Azumarill. So he's going to go out into Low Pony, which is not a problem because I have the counter to Mega Low Pony. As he's going to go for a return. Like now, I actually could have lived that return with my Starmie and been able to kill him with a Scald, but he could have went out with a Fake Out. So I'm just going to slack off, keep my HP at a good stat. So he actually predicts me to go out into probably Ferrothorn right there, as I beat Gengar 1v1, and not wanting this thing to get too low, I'm just going to go out into my Heracross because Heracross gets outsped by pretty much the majority of his team. I'm in range of Aqua Jet if he's banded, and Heracross has no use at this point in time as he goes for a Pain Split, which is kind of cool. And here I'm able to now just go for a Pursuit Trap and take him out. And I didn't. Another thing is I could have went into my Weavile at any point in time on the Gengar, but it's like there's no need to make such an aggressive play like that. And also my Weavile, Ice Shard wins if I get a little bit more damage. Well, if I get more damage on the Azumarill, Banded Ice Shard wins. As I'm going to sack my Starmie here. So he goes for a high jump kick, and he's able to take out my Starmie, which is fine because I didn't need my Starmie anymore. So I'm going to go out into my Hippowdon and get a free slack off, but nope, just kidding. I'm going to go for an Earthquake because I need damage onto the Azumarill. Because if I get a damage on the Azumarill, I'm going to win with Ice Shard. And I think I'm pretty much guaranteed to win with Ice Shard right now. As long as I'm not in range of Aqua Jet. No, wait, no, I outspeed priority. So I pretty much win right now with Ice Shard, and knowing this was more of me just trying to make mindless plays, just to make plays. I'm gonna go for a earthquake here, because if he were to kill off my Apollon here with a waterfall, or whatever, and if he's banded, then I can just go out into my Ferrothorn, and then just win. So I thought, I mean, earthquake was 100% my best play. He just, and the other thing is, he could have went for a superpower. It was kind of a 50-50 for him, and he decides to go out to Garchomp to kind of the middle ground plays here, and it also beats my Ferrothorn because he has Fire Blast. So I'm just gonna slack off here, get back my health, and I just want to be at a good range of HP so I can deal with the low punny, and even live a play rough is kind of the ideal here if he decides to lock himself in a play rough. And basically because I have no reason not to, just slack off here, as the, the crit game is strong, but it doesn't really matter. I have the game right now with banded Ice Shard, because Ice Shard. Yeah, so I'm gonna switch out because it's gonna be able to. Yeah, he's able to get a little bit more chip damage from the Iron Barbs. I had the sand in the back that would have wore him down, and the game was won. So we're gonna hop into our game 2. If you guys want to see the absolute devastating power of Heracross, this is gonna be the game 2 watch. I had a very, very fun time with this game. So with the opponent's team, he's got a Mega Dancy, and he's probably default Skarmory. So it's almost irrelevant to hazard stack him because he can just defog, and he defogs versus kind of everything, but not really. Like I mean, in theory, he can defog versus the majority of my team. So I'm not really going to really have hazard stacking in mind. Now, I decide to lead off with my Starmie in case he does lead, with Dancy. I can get off a free Scald, and I kind of wanted him to go into his Suicune because I have like many. I want to be able to weaken Suicune a little bit in order to put it in Heracross range later on in the game, and also Starmie also kind of creates like, what am I gonna do? Am I going to be lay forward 3 attacks, this and that? So he decides to lead off with his Celebi. I don't know why. I guess he was expecting my Hippowdon, but like, what if I led off with my like Ferrothorn, which dealt with the majority of his team? Yeah, and that was the other thing is if he did lead off with his Conkeldurr is the only thing that deals with Ferrothorn. I wanted to scare out the Conkeldurr with my Starmie, even though my Starmie actually cannot do much to his Conkeldurr, as he's able to get up his rocks. And I also want to see if he does have Giga Drain, because he might not have Giga Drain. I just want to be able to scout him out a little bit, as he's going to Giga Drain. I don't need HP on this thing. And I can recover versus like his Skarmory and his Suicune and stuff like that. So I'm going to go out into Ferrothorn. This is going to Thunder Wave me, which is so good for me, because now I can't get Scald Burned by Suicune. And that was kind of a misplay, I guess, from him. So knowing that he's going to go out into Conkeldurr, and I want to scare this thing out, is I could be packing the Psyshock, so he should know that, as he makes an incredibly aggressive switch into the Weavile. I was actually thinking of even going for Scald there, but there was no need, and I just wanted to get off a clean recover. So, there's always the 50-50. Is he going to pursue? Is he going to Scald? Is he this or that? So I'm just going, I kind of already know he's going to knock off here, and I'm just going to go out into my Heracross because I can live a knockoff. As he's going to go out into a Suicune. Suicune is not really a Heracross switch in. So I'm going to get a huge amount. That's almost a 2 KO on a Suicune. And I'm not even adamant. That is insane. And now he goes out into his Conkeldurr, as here I'm real as fuck. He was either gonna go for rest there or yeah, I actually predicted him to go for rest or this or that. He goes right out into the Kinkeldr, which I like. Kinkeldr's the biggest threat to my team, hands down. And if I can like kill the Kinkeldr, I just win with Ferrothorn essentially. So I Swords Dance, and now he has to pretty much sack his whole team here. Because he goes out into Celebi, and holy damage! Like that did a heck of a whole lot. And I'm able to 2 KO the Celebi there, which is very, very nice. As he's gonna go out into the Weavile. Obviously, I want to keep this Heracross because Heracross is one of my biggest checks to Kinkeldr as well. So I'm going to actually predict him to Icicle Crash because he's forced to Icicle Crash, and I'm just gonna go out into Starmie. I mean, you see, like Weavile is a huge threat to this team, but you can kind of play around it. As I'm just gonna get rid of the rocks because his Stealth Rocker's gone, and I can freely switch around. As he's gonna go out into a Suicune, so here I can Leech Seed, I can Spike, I can do a lot of different things. I can predict him to go out and Kinkeldr, but I just want to be able to get up my Leech Seed because I have a Hippowdon and a Zapdos that do beat the Kinkeldr for the most part, and he's gonna pull a double into the Weavile because Weavile beats my whole entire team. And I'm not gonna switch out because Weavile's too big of a problem, and he's banded. Like I'm certainly confident the Icicle Crash damage on Starmie has revealed that he is in fact damaged. So he's going for the hacks here, and it's like that's not your best play. You have a Skarmory that can somewhat deal with the Ferrothorn, and you also have the Kinkeldr, but your win condition, which is the Weavile, you risk. So I didn't expect him to do that. I decided to get up my Spike, a Spike, to pressure him because it's like, well, I might as well. Like I need to pressure his team a little bit. So and also the Spike allows me to now kill the Suicune with a close combat. As I mean, he sat like if he's gonna stay in, I might as well Gyro Ball and um I mean, he's trying to hacks me, but it's like you're also risking a miss, and that like you won with Weavile. That was not the play to make. I don't understand why he did that. So I'm just gonna be able to kill off his biggest threat. And I'm thinking, all right, I probably have the game here, as Ice Punch does a lot. He's Sheer Force, Life Orb Sheer Force, and that's gonna 2-hit KO. So Poison Jab hit 0 on my team. I mean, he showed he wasn't knockoff because if he was knockoff, he would have went for it, and he probably predicted my Starmie, and he probably doesn't have anything to hit my Starmie bar like Poison Jab, I guess. So I'm gonna get up my rocks because of that, and yeah, I'm just gonna sack off the Hippowdon. I mean, that was kind of the name of the game because Hippowdon wasn't doing too much, and I'm gonna just fire off close combats because close combats just got a kill, dude. That is insane. Easily 2-hit KOing the Skarmory, which now I am able to keep up my rocks. So he goes into his Dancy. I go for a close combat just in case he gets cheeky here. He does not go for a protect, and he would have sacked off his Dancy if he didn't protect it. But he does go for protect, so that's fine. I'm just gonna sack off my Ferrothorn then, as that was the play to make. And I go out into my Weavile, and he decides to protect, and I'm pretty sure that Icicle Crash actually is going to a kill. Actually, Icicle Crash does get a kill here because his Suicune is low enough, and then maybe he's just trying to PP stall me a little bit, but yeah, I get a kill here. I don't know, maybe trying to predict a switch, but he's going to be able to go out into a Suicune. I'm going to go hard into Heracross. So this game is going to come down to a little bit of hacks here. Actually, don't get scald. Now, if I did get burned, I might have just lost, depending on his sleep talk. Like, because Weavile still would have done. I think Weavile still would have been able to 3-hit KO this, but he could have also scald burned my Weavile as well. And yeah, I mean that would have been pretty bad if I would have been able to get scald burned, but I don't get scalded. And here I'm going to just go for a pin missile. Um, because, well, I thought I was going to go, yeah, because I wanted to keep the close combat, my last close combat for his Kinkelder. And yeah, it just got a kill. So the game is pretty much sealed up because I didn't think Mach Punch would kill, but it actually does kill. But he's in range of Banded Ice Shard, and he knows that the game is lost. And um, Drain Punch, like I would have went into Starmie and just fired off a Scald there as well. So the game was lost. The team looking pretty solid, very fun to use Heracross, especially if you get the right matchups. It just bodies. So thank you everybody for watching this team builder video, and until next time, I'm signing out. Peace.